Yes, I travel up to 10 countries a year while being a completely broke student. I had no savings, no rich parents, nothing. And it all started because of a 19-euro flight that changed my entire life. When I was a business student after the 2020 lockdown, I realized how easily our government managed to restrain our freedom. And back then I had one dream. It was traveling the world. So as soon as travel was permitted again, I promised myself that I have to see the world and experiment certain things before, I don't know, which politician tried to keep me in captivity again like an animal or an inmate. But I also had one big problem. Yes, I traveled up to 10 countries a year while being a completely broke student. I had no savings, no rich parents, nothing. And it all started because of one 19-euro flight that changed my entire life. When I was a business student after the 2020 lockdown, I realized how easily our government managed to restrain our freedom, and back then I had one dream. This dream was traveling the world, so as soon as travel was permitted again, I promised myself that I have to see the world and experiment certain things. Before, I don't know which politician tried to keep me in captivity again, like an animal or an inmate. But I also had one big problem. My bank account looked like a joke, and I genuinely believe traveling required a lot of money for vacations, hotels, flights. All of that felt like something only wealthy people could do. And I'm from a middle class environment, and I see people only going on a vacation once or twice a year and are unable to do more because, of course, of their responsibilities like the family or their house, the job and the bank account. And honestly, the thought of being stuck in the same city all my life terrified me. That was the stake. Either I found a way to travel or I'd live a life that felt too small for me. And everything changed on a random Tuesday night. I was sitting in my room, in my parents' house, with a window that overlooked nothing, and I was exhausted from my classes, from my night shift, from feeling stuck in the same routine every single day. And I wasn't even looking for a trip. I was just crawling on Skyscanner as a broke kid, daydreaming about the countries I can't afford. And then it appeared. Ran a flight and for about 19 euros to Budapest. I stared at the screen, I refreshed the page, closed it, opened it again. Okay, this has to be a glitch. I thought the website was broken, then I thought I was crazy for even considering it. I checked my bank account, not even 50 euros in it. And everything in me said, no, be responsible, you can't travel, you can't afford it, forget about it. But there was this tiny voice, so small I almost missed it. What if you just try? My heart was racing, my hand was shaking, and without thinking too much, because if I did I wouldn't do it, I booked it. And that was the moment, my first solo trip. No plan, no money, no safety net. Just my curiosity and a backpack with a broken zipper. And then I arrived to Budapest. Everything felt different, like the cold air at the airport, the sound of the language I didn't understand, the excitement mixed with fear, feeling of being somewhere new for the first time in my life. And I walked for hours just looking at building people, cafes, the river, and somewhere along those streets something inside me clicked. I fell in love with the architecture, the history, the food, the people, and I realized how big the world is and how many things we'll never see in your life. And I want to experiment the most of it. So I remember stopping, looking around and thinking, I don't just want to travel, like I need it. I want to see the world, all of it. And it wasn't a thought, it was a truth, a calling. Like in that exact moment I realized this isn't a vacation. This is who I am, or at least who I want to become. This is what I want in my life, to look like that 19-euro ticket. That tiny impulse decision became the domino that pushed everything else. Every country, every trip, every risk, every dream that came after. It all started right there, in Budapest, with a broke student who clicked book instead of close tab. People always see the pictures, the destination, the airport, the comment saying, bro, your life looks so fun, but here's the part that nobody sees. Yes, I was struggling, but I was also broke. Like counting coins at the supermarket broke. And I had no savings. It was a full-time student drowning in assignments. And I worked night shift like 3 to 4 times a week. The kind of shift that leaves you exhausted the next morning in class. So if I wanted to keep traveling, I had to build my entire life around it. So I sacrificed. I didn't go out, no parties, no restaurants, no drinks with friends, no impulsive spending. My life became a cycle, almost robotic. Work, gym, school, sleep, repeat. Every single week. Not because I was disciplined, but because I was obsessed. Obsessed with the idea of catching another cheap flight, obsessed with the next destination, obsessed with proving to myself that I could do it. But the messy middle, that's where the real story is. Because even with all that effort, I made so many mistakes. I wasted money I didn't have. I booked trains on wrong dates. I went to the airport once, the wrong airport once. I paid stupid fees out of pure inexperience. I missed opportunities, internships, events, friendships, because I was too focused on living again. And yeah, I hit zero, not once, but twice. More times than I want to admit, to be honest. And there were nights I came home from work at 6 a.m. completely drained, thinking, why am I doing this to myself? But the funny thing is, every failure taught me something. Every mistake became a lesson. Very bad decision became a trick I learned to avoid next time. And little by little, I improved. I started traveling through Europe, Czech Republic, Italy, Hungary, Austria, everywhere. So anywhere I could go with a cheap flight or a discounted bus ticket or flight. Then I quit school and worked full time. And I kept the same system, same sacrifices, same lifestyle, same need to travel. Eventually I left for Canada for a year. And you know, a lot of people dream of Canada, but me, I barely enjoyed it because the whole time in the back of my mind I wasn't thinking, how do I build a life here? I was thinking more about where can I travel next. But that year opened something new. Canada was my gateway to the Americas. And one day, I don't even remember if it was Colombia or Mexico, maybe, but something happened. Okay, I fell in love with Latin America. The people, the culture, the energy, the chaos. I don't know, it felt alive. It felt not like home, but maybe. And that's when I decided, okay, I'm doing a long trip there. A real one, not a weekend trip, not a 3-day escape. A real journey. That's the truth of the messy middle. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't glamorous. It wasn't easy. It was persistence, obsession, mistakes, and learning to survive with what I had. And honestly, that messy middle is the only reason I'm here today. When I look back at all of this, the sacrifices, the mistakes, the sleepless night, the €0 moments, I realized something nobody had ever told me. Travel isn't really expensive. What is expensive is being unorganized. Nobody teaches you that. Not your school, not the travel industry, and definitely not the people selling your vacation package. But it's true. If you learn how to use the system instead of letting the system use you, travel becomes more accessible. Even when you're broke, you're tired, you're overwhelmed, or completely lost, the real lessons, you don't need money to start. You need a strategy. You need more awareness. You need courage to try the first time. And honestly, I wish someone had told me these things earlier. Because I would have avoided so many mistakes, I would have saved so much money. I would have traveled smarter and not harder. If I could go back in time and give my past self a cheat sheet that would contain exactly 3 things. Okay, imagine this. You want to fly from Paris to Rome. The direct flight costs €110, okay? You decide, you accept it, you think, well, that's the price, but what you don't know is that you're looking at the wrong flight, okay? It's the secret most travelers never hear about. Sometimes the cheapest ticket isn't to your destination. It's through your destination. Okay, let me give you an example. Paris, Athens cost mostly €60. Paris, Athens with a layover in Rome. So you book the Athens flight and you get up in Rome. You just saved €50 in stepping off the plane. One airport earlier, Nohak. Just understanding the airline's pricing logic. Why does this work? Because airlines don't price tickets by distance. They price them by market and demand. If a destination is popular like Rome, prices are high. If the final destination isn't highly demanded, like Athens for example, at certain times, prices drop and your desired city becomes the hidden middle point. You are using market economics to your advantage. So how to use it correctly? You search on Skyscanner, Google Flight or Kayak. So you are looking for flights with layovers. See if the layover city is your actual destination. You book the cheaper flight and you get off at a layover. But there's some rules to avoid problems with this. You only use carry-on luggage because check bags go to the final destination. You do not add your airline loyalty number, and you don't book this on a round trip. Missing a segment can cancel your return flight. Use it mostly for short, medium flight, okay, because long haul is more riskier. Then you have the slow travel passes. This is insanely powerful because it lets you explore the entire countries for the price of a single train ticket. And almost nobody knows it. Most tourists follow Google Maps, experienced traveler for train passes, and these passes let you travel unlimited for days or weeks. So you pay once and you explore as much as you want. For the best travel passes in Europe, you have Interrail, one country pass, valid over in 30 European countries. Just pick one country and get unlimited train travel inside it. It's perfect for Italy, Spain, Czech Republic, Croatia, Poland. So the prices are around 40 to 90 euros depending on duration. For example, you can do Rome, Florence, Venice, Milan for about 150 euros individually and 60 euros with a bus. For Central Europe train passes, you have this is super underrated by the way. You have Czech Republic, Slovakia, Hungary, Austria, all have cheap unlimited passes. For example, I went to Czech Republic, 24-hour pass, you can travel the whole country for about 12 euros. That means Prague, Brno, Ostrava, Kutna, Ara, all in one day. And almost nobody uses this, not even the locals. Then you have Japan, you have regional passes. So you have the national passes that are expensive in the Luxembourg. So, why this hack is a game changer? You transfer your trip into a multi-city travel, flexible itineraries, cheaper transportation, a deeper cultural experience. You get 4 to 6 cities for the price of one. And then you have the seasonal location swap. Expand the travel when no one does. This one of the most powerful hacks because it plays with human psychology. Most people travel when it's summer, it's vacation season. Other people travel prices are the absolute highest. But you flip the script. You travel right before or right after the high season. This is called shoulder season or pre-season, post-season. Why is it a cheat code? Because during these periods, hotels are half the price, flights are discounted, tourist crowd disappear, and local are friendlier. The weather is still super good and you get the same destination, but at 50% discount. Let me give you some example. For example, you have Greece in May instead of July. So you have 28 to 30 degrees, crystal water, empty island, flight and hotel half the price. Portugal in October, warm weather, insane flight deals, cheap hostels, surfers, great energy. In Morocco in September, you have super low prices, mid-rain only, in late afternoon, gorgeous mornings, cultural festivals everywhere. Italy in October, perfect temperature, empty streets, food still amazing, locals more relaxed. For example, I went to Italy in October, my flight cost 28 euros, my hotel cost me 13 euro a night and the weather was perfect. I had a meal almost to myself. Meanwhile, people paid 300 euros for the same trip in August. The way to take away these 3 strategies alone could have saved me hours of stress, weeks of planning, months of working overtime, and thousands of euros. But nobody told me. I had to learn the hard way, by failing, by struggling, by figuring out the iron rule of a system nobody explains. And that's why I share all of this now, because I don't want you to spend years making the same mistakes I did. I want you to travel faster, cheaper, smarter. I want you to use the system to your advantage, not the other way around. Travel was never out of reach, it was just hidden behind the wrong informations. So turn the story into action. If you want me to drop a full video with every trick I use, from cheap flights to free accommodations to planning trips as full-time student, tell me in the comments. You tell me, like, show me the travel hacks and I make a part 2, okay? Because if a broke student like me can travel the world, so can you.